It has been my pleasure to work with Norma Corinne Wolfe Werner for the past several decades in her role as a member of Daughters of the American Revolution, Queen Aliquippa chapter, of which she has been a member 48 years. This documentary is to showcase the contribution Norma has made as a lifelong historian. She certainly is a woman of American history. This indomitable woman embodies the pioneer spirit, as she represents all that her Patriot ancestor, Colonel Phillip Llewellyn Howell, left to her in DNA and in the very land he warranted in 1796, upon which she continues to reside to this very day. As the youngest child of Frederick Wolfe and Corinne Howell, Norma Werner has contributed to Elizabeth Township and the surrounding area, documenting the extraordinary history of the Wolfe Howell family, partnering to write a 500-page family history book, and culminating the activity by placing an historic marker at the entrance to the remaining land, which has passed down through the Howells unbroken for over 200 years. Norma's contributions include her participation in area events, including the Bicentennial Wagon Train in 1976. Her work to fund the activity inspired the gathering, mending, and making of outfits for colonial festivities and gathering wardrobes for fashion shows, collecting for every decade from 1890 to 1990. The Lewis and Clark Discovery Expedition came to Elizabeth with her energy and spirit at the helm, building and bridging the past to the present, and the present to the future. If it happened in Elizabeth Township in the past 90 years, Norma Werner was there, as she will continue her legacy into the future. Now let us hear her story in her own words, and some of those who worked alongside her. Come along, listen, and enjoy.
Hi, Norma. I just want to say thank you for everything that you do to help us out. You pitch in here at the Historical Society. You teach me so much about history, and you share your wealth of knowledge with everyone, with students, with people. You've helped us out at the flea markets. When we plan anything, you're there ready to pitch in, and I really appreciate it.
And I'm so glad that you invited me to join the Historical Society. I've had very nearly 20 years of doing historic endeavors, going with you to schools to do presentations for school kids, and just the things you've taught me about the American's Creed and the original American History Month and all the things I learned. So I'm glad to have been able to have these experiences, and you imparted that little bit of your own historic knowledge to me, and I'm grateful for that.
Norma, you're a joy, an absolute joy. You bring history alive with your enthusiasm and your experience. You just have, your whole life has been showing lessons of how to be a sustainable lifestyle. It's a catchword now, but it's the way you've lived. And that's a major lesson that we can learn. As you grew up on the farm, there was no waste. And as you work around this historical society, you see no waste. You see opportunities to use material, to use tables and chairs, and to use your ideas to do fundraisings and realizing what people like. And through your joy of history, you just share experiences and are very willing to be open to new ideas and to try something. It's just not what you want to do. Hey, let's give it a go and we'll try it. And if it succeeds, great. If it doesn't, don't do it again. Norma, it's been an honor and privilege to learn from you and to work with you. I just wish I had all the talents and skills that you have to continue to preserve and encourage and present these vintage fashions that you've collected through the years that you've given through history to the Historical Society and the DAR and your organizations. Again, thank you, Norma.
Oh, hi, this is Pat Graham, Mary Patricia, for some of you who know me that way. I know Norma because when I was a new member down in Miami, she was so wonderful to me, and she helped me a lot, learn the rules and do whatever I was supposed to do. And I missed her when I had to move. About 6 years later, I moved to North Florida. She was really great. She kept me in touch with everyone that I knew then. But she is really a great person, and I'm so lucky, better for knowing her. Thank you.
There was this old guy, and he's like 90 years old. He's from Alaska, and he had an Alaska wagon and I think the Idaho one. He had two of them. He had one guy. So I go up there, and I'm kind of the well-wisher to go up there every day and see that everything's going all right, because I live closest. And so I go up there, and they're shoeing the horses. And this old guy's sitting there, and I have my bicentennial. I'll put my shirt over there. It has 1776 and 1976. This old guy looks at me and he says, "Tell me, honey," he says, "what's the difference between the 1776 and the 1970?" I says, "Oh, hell, it don't matter. They're dry anyhow." He never got that.
He never got what you were saying? So
When I started school, I was in first grade, and my brother was in 7th grade. But there were 16 kids, and we were all different grades. And this guy taught us. We had a teacher, but this guy was our principal. And then they closed the schoolhouse down, and that's why Round Hill Park was up there. Yeah, that was part of the schoolhouse. And so anyhow.
So they weren't going to pay his pension. So
they
what did you kids decide?
They were going to just throw him out to do what the hell he could do. And the kid says, "We're not going to do that." So I forgot all about this. We went on strike. We wouldn't go to school.
That was in 1937.
Somewhere about there. Yeah, Ed just reminded me. I said, "Oh, yeah, I forgot all about that."
And you climbed out a window, locked all the doors, and climbed out a window.
We did all that kind of stuff.
And they paid his pension.
But finally, because it just got so bad that we just said we're not going to have that, then they did give the guy his pension.
So you've been an activist pretty much your whole life?
Since first grade.
Since first grade.
First grade.
A part of Norma preserving history for the future is her artistry. She paints and she does wood burning, and so these are examples of some of her wood burnings.
There's an Indian.
That's beautiful, Norma.
I have these all over the countryside. And this was off of an old calendar. That's an old picture of a calendar. I took that picture off of. And this is windmills, and this is just a scene, country scene. And this is another one. I took these out of an old 18-something book. So it was in the book.
You do a lot with both the clothing and fashion and natural scenes. I've never heard you say anything negative. You are always looking for opportunities to turn everything into something better.
Well, that's what the world's about. If you can't make it better, why bother? If you're going to make it worse, why bother? Make it better or don't even bother at all.
Today we're honored to talk to you, Norma.
Well, I'm just honored to think you even think of me. That's something I would have never thought of. It was just something I do all the time, so I didn't think nothing about it.
Your everyday life is very special, Norma, and you've touched a lot of people. So thank you so much for letting us do this.
I thank you for the DAR. That's something I was going to do because I felt I had to. If I wasn't a member of the DAR, this would mean nothing. it would mean nothing because I'm registered now that this is something that's true.
Over 200 years living on the property of your Patriot ancestor. And his name was?
Colonel Phillip Howell.